1991. On that day, approximately 1,300 Israelis, predominantly civilians, were killed in communities near the Gaza Strip border and during a music festival. Over 200 hostages, including elders, women, and children as young as 9 months, were kidnapped and taken to the Gaza Strip. 282, 283, 284, Geography and Environment. Geography of Israel: Galilee, coastal plain, Judean mountains, Jordan Valley, Negev, Levantine Sea, Mediterranean, Kinneret, Dead Sea, Gulf of Eilat, West Bank, Gaza Strip, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Egypt. Israel is located in the Levant area of the Fertile Crescent. The country is at the eastern end of the Mediterranean Sea, bounded by Lebanon to the north, Syria to the northeast, Jordan and the West Bank to the east, and Egypt and the Gaza Strip to the southwest. It lies between latitudes 29 degrees and 34 degrees N, and longitudes 34 degrees and 36 degrees E. The sovereign territory of Israel, according to the demarcation lines of the 1949 Armistice Agreements and excluding all territories captured by Israel during the 1967 Six-Day War, is approximately 20,770 square kilometers, 8,019 square mi, of which 2% is water. 285. However, Israel is so narrow, 100 kilometers at its widest, compared to 400 kilometers from north to south, that the exclusive economic zone in the Mediterranean is double the land area of the country. 286. The total area under Israeli law, including East Jerusalem and the Golan Heights, is 22,072 square kilometers, 8,522 square mi, 287, and the total area under Israeli control, including the military-controlled and partially Palestinian-governed territory of the West Bank, is 27,799 square kilometers, 10,733 square mi. 288. Despite its small size, Israel is home to a variety of geographic features, from the Negev Desert in the south to the inland fertile Jezreel Valley, mountain ranges of the Galilee, Carmel, and toward the Golan in the north. The Israeli coastal plain on the shores of the Mediterranean is home to most of the nation's population. 289. East of the Central Highlands lies the Jordan Rift Valley, a small part of the 6,500 kilometer satellite images of Israel and neighboring territories during the day and night. 4,039 mi, Great Rift Valley. The Jordan River runs along the Jordan Rift Valley, from Mount Hermon through the Hula Valley and the Sea of Galilee to the Dead Sea, the lowest point on the surface of the earth. 290. Further south is the Arabah, ending with the Gulf of Eilat, part of the Red Sea. Marked or erosion cirques are unique to the Negev and the Sinai Peninsula, the largest being the Marked Raman at 38 kilometers in length. 291. Israel has the largest number of plant species per square meter of the countries in the Mediterranean basin. 292. Israel contains 4 terrestrial ecoregions: Eastern Mediterranean conifer sclerophyllous broadleaf forests, Southern Anatolian montane conifer and deciduous forests, Arabian desert, and Mesopotamian shrub desert. 293. Israel's modern forests are all hand-planted. Since 1901, Israel's government reforestation program has planted over 260 million trees to replace the original cedars of Lebanon. 294, 295, 296. Tectonics and seismicity. The Jordan Rift Valley is the result of tectonic movements within the Dead Sea Transform (DSF) fault system. The DSF forms the transform boundary between the African plate to the west and the Arabian plate to the east. The Golan Heights and all of Jordan are part of the Arabian plate, while the Galilee, West Bank, coastal plain, and Negev along with the Sinai Peninsula are on the African plate. This tectonic disposition leads to a relatively high seismic activity. The entire Jordan Valley segment is thought to have ruptured repeatedly, for instance during the last two major earthquakes along this structure in 749 and 1033. The deficit in slip that has built up since the 1033 event is sufficient to cause an earthquake of MW7.4.297. The most catastrophic known earthquakes occurred in 31 BCE, 363, 749, and 1033 CE, that is every CE. 400 years an average. 298. Destructive earthquakes leading to serious loss of life strike about every 80 years. 299. While stringent construction regulations are in place and recently built structures are earthquake safe, as of 2007 many public buildings as well as 50,000 residential buildings did not meet the new standards and were expected to collapse if exposed to a strong earthquake. 299. Climate. Temperatures in Israel vary widely, especially during the winter. Coastal areas, such as those of Tel Aviv and Haifa, have a typical Mediterranean climate with cool, rainy winters and long, hot summers. The area of Beersheba and northern Negev have a semi-arid climate with hot summers, cool winters, and fewer rainy days. The southern Negev and the Arava areas have a desert climate with very hot, dry summers, and mild winters with few days of rain. The highest temperature in the world outside Africa and North America as of 2021, 54 degrees Celsius, 129 degrees Fahrenheit, was recorded in 1942 in the Tirat Zvi kibbutz in the northern Jordan River Valley. 301. Mountainous regions can be windy and cold, and areas at elevation of 750 meters, 2,460 feet, or more, same elevation as Jerusalem, will usually receive at least one snowfall each year. 302. From May to September, rain in Israel is rare. 303. 304. There are 4 different phytogeographic regions in Israel, due to the country's location between the temperate and tropical zones. For this reason, the flora and fauna are extremely diverse. There are 2,867 known species of plants in Israel. Of these, at least 253 species are introduced and non-native. 305. There are 380 Israeli nature reserves. 306. The projections of the IPCC 6th Assessment Report show clearly the impacts of climate change on Israel even at 2 degrees of warming. With scarce water resources, Israel has developed various water-saving technologies, including drip irrigation. 307. The considerable sunlight available for solar energy makes Israel the leading nation in solar energy use per capita. Practically every house uses solar panels for water heating. 308. The Israeli Ministry of Environmental Protection has reported that climate change will have a decisive impact on all areas of life, particularly for vulnerable populations. 309. Demographics. Immigration to Israel in the years 1948-2015. The 2 peaks were in 1949 and 1990. Israel has the largest Jewish population in the world and is the only country where Jews are the majority. 310. As of 31 December 2022, Israel's population was an estimated 9,656,000. In 2022, the government recorded 73.6% of the population as Jews, 21.1% as Arabs, and 5.3% as others. non-Arab Christians and people who have no religion listed. 12. Over the last decade, large numbers of migrant workers from Romania, Thailand, China, Africa, and South America have settled in Israel. Exact figures are unknown, as many of them are living in the country illegally. 311. But estimates run from 166,000 to 203,000. 312. By June 2012, approximately 60,000 African migrants had entered Israel. 313. About 93% of Israelis live in urban areas. 314. 90% of Palestinian Israelis reside in 139 densely populated towns and villages concentrated in the Galilee Triangle and Negev regions, with the remaining 10% in mixed cities and neighborhoods. 315, 316, 317, 318, 319. The OECD in 2016 estimated the average life expectancy at 82.5 years, the sixth highest in the world. 320. Israeli Arab life expectancy lags by 3 to 4 years. 321. 322. Still higher than almost every majority Arab or Muslim country in the world. 323. 324. Israel was established as a homeland for Jewish people and is often referred to as a Jewish state. The country's law of return grants all Jews and those of Jewish ancestry the right to citizenship. 325. Retention of Israel's population since 1948 is about even or greater when compared to other countries with mass immigration. 326. Jewish emigration from Israel, called Yerida, primarily to the United States and Canada, is described by demographers as modest. 327. But is often cited by Israeli government ministries as a major threat to Israel's future. 328. 329. Approximately 80% of Israeli Jews are born in Israel. 14% are immigrants from Europe and the Americas, and 6% are immigrants from Asia and Africa. 330. Jews from Europe and the former Soviet Union and their descendants born in Israel, including Ashkenazi Jews, constitute approximately 44% of Jewish Israelis. Jews from Arab and Muslim countries and their descendants, including both Mizrahi and Sephardi Jews, 331, form most of the rest of Jewish population. 332, 333. Jewish intermarriage rates run at over 35%, and recent studies suggest that the percentage of Israelis descended from both Sephardi and Ashkenazi Jews increases by 0.5% yearly, with over 25% of school children now originating from both. 334, around 4% of Israelis, 300,000, ethnically defined as others, are Russian descendants of Jewish origin or family who are not Jewish according to rabbinical law, but were eligible for citizenship under the law of return. 335, 336, 337. The total number of Israeli settlers beyond the Green Line is over 600,000, almost equal to 10% of the Jewish Israeli population. 338. In 2016, 399,300 Israelis lived in West Bank settlements. 339, including those that predated the establishment of the State of Israel and which were re-established after the Six-Day War, in cities such as Hebron and Gush Etzion block. Additionally, there were more than 200,000 Jews living in East Jerusalem, 340, and 22,000 inches the Golan Heights. 339, approximately 7,800 Israelis lived in settlements in the Gaza Strip, known as Gush Katif, until they were evacuated by the government as part of its 2005 disengagement plan. 341. Israeli Arabs, including the Arab population of East Jerusalem and the Golan Heights, comprise 21.1% of the population, or 1,995,000 people. 342. In a 2017 poll, 40% of Arab citizens of Israel identified as Arab in Israel or Arab citizens